Did you know that when an animal becomes frozen in ice, its body can last for thousands of years, almost like nature's way of hitting the "save this" button? Scientists have uncovered prehistoric mammoths, woolly rhinos, and even ancient humans, so perfectly preserved you'd half expect them to blink. But here's where it gets straight up creepy. Some frozen finds don't just tell us about the past. They raise questions we weren't even ready to ask. Creatures that shouldn't exist, things that challenge evolution, and discoveries so bizarre they make Katy Perry run like Noah Lyles. So let's crack open this ice-cold nightmare and meet the 15 most terrifying creatures ever found frozen in ice. You won't believe number 6, we promise. Number 15, the ancient steppe bison. A frozen carcass from 9,000 years ago is already impressive, right? But a frozen carcass with its heart, brain, and digestive system still intact? Well, that's too right, isn't it? In 2011, researchers found one of the most complete steppe bison, aka bison priscus, remains ever discovered, buried in the permafrost of northern Siberia. This wasn't just a pile of bones. It was an entire Ice Age bison, so well preserved that scientists could still see its blood vessels and tissues. Some organs shrank over time, but the bison's body was in such good condition that it raised an even bigger question. Can it be cloned? That might sound like science fiction, but it's already being discussed. In 2022, another 8,000-year-old steppe bison was found in Russia, and its DNA was so intact that scientists are studying ways to possibly revive the species. With discoveries like this, we're not just looking into the past, we're flirting with the idea of bringing it back. Number 14, Sasha, the woolly rhino baby. There was a time when woolly rhinos ruled the Ice Age tundra, plowing through snow with their giant fur-covered bodies. But not all of them lived to see adulthood. Sasha, a 10,000-year-old baby woolly rhino, was one of them. Found frozen in Siberia, this little rhino was the first young woolly rhino ever discovered. Scientists still don't know if Sasha was male or female, but judging by its horn size, it had already been weaned when it died. It once roamed the Mammoth steppe, a harsh, frozen world stretching from Spain to Siberia, where only the toughest creatures like David Goggins can survive. Whatever happened, Sasha wasn't tough enough to escape fate, but instead of decaying like most ancient creatures, it was locked in ice, preserving its fur, skin, and even muscle tissue. This discovery is a time tool into the past, giving researchers insight into a world that no longer exists. While mammoths get most of the spotlight, Sasha proves that woolly rhinos were just as important in the Ice Age ecosystem, and just as fascinating. Number 13, the mammoth calves. 2 baby mammoths, 2 different locations, the same tragic ending. In 2007, researchers uncovered Lyuba and Chroma, 2 40,000-year-old mammoth calves frozen in Siberia. Unlike many mammoths that died from predators or starvation, these 2 were perfectly healthy when they met their fate. The real killer? Mud. Both calves choked to death after falling into water, inhaling mud into their lungs before they could struggle free. What makes this even more bizarre is how perfectly preserved their bodies were. Lyuba and Chroma still had hair, skin, and even fat layers, making them some of the best Ice Age specimens ever found. But the most shocking discovery? Chroma still had undigested breast milk in her stomach, and it was so fresh that it looked like yogurt. That means these mammoths were only months old when they died. And with their DNA so well saved, scientists believe we're closer than ever to bringing mammoths back to life. Number 12, the cave lion cub, Sparta. It's one thing to find ancient bones. It's another to find an animal so well preserved that even its whiskers are still intact. Meet Sparta, a 28,000-year-old cave lion cub found frozen in Siberia in 2017. This isn't just any prehistoric cat. Sparta is the best preserved Ice Age predator ever discovered. Scientists found her fur, skin, teeth, and internal organs fully intact. She looked as if she had been frozen yesterday, untouched by Andra Day. But what's even stranger, she wasn't alone. Another lion cub, named Boris, was found nearby, but Sparta's body was in significantly good condition. Researchers believe Sparta likely died suddenly, possibly in a mudslide that buried her before decomposition could begin. That's why she remains so perfectly frozen in time. Cave lions were once apex predators, dominating Ice Age Europe and Asia. Now, Sparta's remains offer clues about their lives, their genetics, and maybe even their return. Because, let's be real, those in white coats are badly genius. Well, we're not talking about Professor Lorenzo. Number 11. The frozen foal. Finding a prehistoric horse is rare enough, but finding one so perfectly preserved that its hair, hooves, skin, and organs are still intact sounds boogie. Yet that's just what scientists found in Siberia's permafrost, a 40,000-year-old foal frozen in time. Unlike many Ice Age discoveries that are just skin and bones, this foal was so well preserved that researchers were able to extract liquid blood from its veins. Yes, actual prehistoric blood is still inside its body after thousands of years. This foal belonged to an extinct species of Ice Age horse, one that lived in a world vastly different from today. And just like the steppe bison, its DNA is so well preserved that scientists believe cloning is a real possibility. With mammoth and bison revival projects already in discussion, this foal might just be another step toward resurrecting an entire Ice Age ecosystem. Number 10. Dinosaur bones. Dinosaurs in Antarctica? Sounds wild, but millions of years ago, this icy wasteland was a lush green paradise. Long before it became a frozen no-man's land, Antarctica was part of Gondwana, a supercontinent covered in forests and rivers. In 1986, geologists Eduardo Olivero and Roberto Scasso uncovered the first-ever dinosaur fossils in this region, including an armored ankylosaur, now called Antarctopelta oliveroi. Other discoveries followed, like the herbivorous Trinosaura, the massive Glaciolosaurus, and the apex predator Cryolophosaurus, which sported a funky-looking crest on its head. But here's the twist. These dinosaurs weren't trudging through snow and ice. Back then, Antarctica had a mild, temperate climate, closer to what New Zealand looks like today. It wasn't until 25 million years ago that the continent froze over, trapping these ancient creatures beneath layers of ice. Their remains serve as a stunning reminder of how drastically Earth's climate has changed, and how much we still have to discover. Number 9. The prehistoric bear. Finding a mummified bear sounds like something out of an Indiana Jones movie. But in 2020, Siberian reindeer herders found exactly that. A bear, completely frozen in permafrost with its nose, teeth, and even fur still intact. At first, scientists thought they had just discovered a cave bear, a species that went extinct about 22,000 years ago. But after further testing in 2022, the truth came out. This wasn't a cave bear at all. It was a 3,460-year-old brown bear, and it had been frozen in time since it was about 2 to 3 years old. Let's be honest, most modern animals don't look this good after a few days. But thanks to permafrost, this bear is so well preserved that scientists can study its muscle tissue, internal organs, and even its last meal. Basically, it's a prehistoric crime scene, and nature is the detective. All right, now let's talk about my favorite one. Number 8, the mummified mammoth. If there's one Ice Age superstar that never fails to amaze, it's the woolly mammoth. And in 2022, gold miners in Canada uncovered something that left scientists speechless: a 30,000-year-old fully mummified baby mammoth. This little giant, named Nunchoga, was just 4.5 feet long and so perfectly preserved that her hair, skin, trunk, and even tiny wrinkles were still visible. Let's put that into perspective. This baby mammoth died tens of thousands of years ago, but still looks like she just collapsed yesterday. What's even wilder, Nunchoga is the most complete mummified mammoth ever found in North America. And considering how much mammoth DNA has been recovered in recent years, she might just help unlock the secret to bringing these Ice Age giants back to life. Jurassic Park, but with mammoths? It's looking more possible by the day. Number 7. The preserved wolf pup. Wolves are built to survive, but even the toughest predators can't fight against nature's deep freeze. In 2016, Canadian gold miners discovered something that made their jaws drop. A fully preserved, 57,000-year-old wolf pup buried in permafrost. This little gray wolf named Zur was only 7 weeks old when she died. But thanks to the ice, she still had fur, skin, teeth, and even her tiny little paw pads. X-ray analysis revealed that her skeleton was undamaged, meaning she wasn't killed by predators. Instead, scientists believe her den collapsed while she was inside, trapping her in an icy tomb that would keep her body intact for tens of thousands of years. And here's the wildest part. Zur is the most complete Ice Age wolf ever found. A prehistoric predator, frozen mid-childhood, offering scientists a perfect look at how ancient wolves lived and evolved. Number 6. Zug Zug the caveman. Well, as promised, you won't believe this one. Just look at this dude. You're taking a peaceful walk through Theodore Wirth Park in Minneapolis, minding your own business, when suddenly, you stop. Not because of the view, but because there's a full-blown caveman trapped in ice right in front of you, and he's just staring. This isn't some ancient discovery. It's Zug Zug the Caveman, an art piece that had people questioning reality in 2021. The mastermind behind it? Artist Zach Schumack, who, along with his team, created the frozen Neanderthal as part of a stunt commissioned by Hunt Adkins. The goal? To get people off their phones and back into the real world. But wait, it gets weirder. Zug Zug wasn't alone. Somewhere out there, hidden in the city, was Zara, the mother huntress, his frozen cave woman counterpart. And if the name Zug Zug sounds familiar, congrats. You've probably seen the 1981 movie Caveman, where that phrase meant, well, let's just say not hunting. Want a thrill in real life? Zug Zug's still out there. Number 5. The prehistoric penguin colony. Penguins are supposed to waddle around in the snow, not be discovered as mummified corpses. But in 2016, scientists in Cape Irizar, Antarctica, stumbled upon something bizarre. A seemingly fresh Adelie penguin colony. The catch? There hadn't been penguins in this area for hundreds of years. The bones, eggshells, and even full bodies of mummified Adelie penguins, or in scientific language, Pygoscelis adelii, had been hidden under ice for up to 5,000 years. But thanks to some recent melting, their prehistoric graveyard was exposed. It was so well preserved that at first, scientists thought they had just walked into a recently abandoned colony. But carbon dating revealed that these birds had been dead for centuries, frozen in time after some unknown disaster wiped them out. And here's the creepy part. If melting ice keeps revealing frozen secrets like this, what else is lurking beneath Antarctica's surface? Number 4. The hibernating squirrel. A 30,000-year-old squirrel curled up like it just hit snooze a little too hard. Sounds fake, right? But in Canada's Yukon Territory, researchers found exactly that. A mummified Arctic ground squirrel still balled up in its hibernation position after thousands of years. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a lump of fur and claws, but X-ray scans revealed the truth. This was a perfectly preserved Ice Age relic, trapped in time. And here's the crazy part. Its species still exists today, meaning that this prehistoric squirrel's modern relatives are still out here doing the exact same thing, hibernating underground and hoping for the best. It's one of the ideal saved Ice Age rodents ever found, and scientists are now studying its body to see how these ancient creatures survived in brutally cold conditions. Who knew squirrels had been on their survival game for 30,000 years? Number 3. The Minnesota Iceman. Not every frozen discovery is ancient. Some are wrapped in mystery, and this one? It's just too bizarre. In the 1960s and 70s, a human-like ape, frozen in a block of ice, was displayed across North America as a sideshow attraction. Dubbed the Minnesota Iceman, it resembled a cross between Bigfoot and a Neanderthal. Frank Hansen, the man behind it, claimed he was just a caretaker for a mystery millionaire, rumored to be Hollywood star James Stewart. But his story kept changing. Was it pulled from Siberian ice, recovered from a whaling ship, or found in Hong Kong? Cryptozoologists Bernard Heuvelmans and Ivan Sanderson examined it in 1968 and believed it was a real missing link. But when scientists got involved, Hansen swapped it for a latex dummy, and the real Iceman vanished. Hoax or not, this frozen mystery still haunts cryptozoology. Number 2. The Siberian Ice Maiden. Frozen for 2,500 years, the Princess of Ukok remained untouched in Siberia's permafrost, her tattoos still visible. She was part of the Pazyryk people, a nomadic warrior tribe, and her burial was fit for royalty. Her tomb contained 6 horses, intricate ornaments, and even a stash of cannabis, proving her high status. But her death? Gruesome. A 2014 MRI scan revealed she suffered from bone disease, multiple injuries from a fall, and terminal breast cancer. Scientists believe she was riding with her tribe, possibly self-medicating with cannabis, when she fell from her horse. She died at just 25, but thanks to Siberia's ice, her body became a perfectly saved time capsule, offering an incredible glimpse into a long-lost civilization from the 5th century BC. Number 1. Ötzi, the Iceman. Frozen for 5,300 years, Ötzi isn't just Europe's oldest mummy, he's the victim of an ancient murder. Discovered in 1991 in the Ötztal Alps, Ötzi wasn't a random traveler. He was hunted down. X-rays showed an arrowhead lodged in his shoulder, proving he was shot from behind. DNA tests found 4 different people's blood on his knife, coat, and weapons. The theory? Ötzi and his allies were ambushed. He killed at least 2 attackers, retrieved his arrows, and tried to escape. But a fatal shot to the back ended his fight, and his companions likely broke off the arrow shaft to try to save him. With cuts on his hands and a skull injury, he fought until his last breath, then collapsed in the snow, where he remained untouched for over 5,000 years. Ötzi isn't just a mummy, he's a crime scene, frozen in time. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, well, as always, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you very soon in the next one.